What's going on, everybody? Excuse me. Sorry for the interruption. So, yeah, apparently the only way that I can make videos now until I get this sorted out, and I'll explain a little bit to you guys, and it's 100% true. I'm not making any of this up. So, what's up, Linus? I use a couple of different screen recorders that I've used for years. I know them inside and out. I know computers inside and out, and programming and things of that nature, because what I do. So now, somehow, all of not just the two that I mainly use, but even like the backup that I use occasionally for certain things, like Mobizen, X Recorder, V Recorder, Screencast. There's so many of them, but they're all doing the same thing. It's very, very interesting. Every time I go to record a video discussing certain things, and certain things are on the screen, it stops recording without even letting me know. So I can ramble on for the next 20 minutes because I have it set up in such a way where it vibrates when it's done. No vibration, doesn't let me know anything. But if I just have my home screen up or go to some random ass website and do it, well, that's fine. The whole thing will record and I can shake my phone or press the escape key or whatever, because this isn't just on one device. This is on multiple devices. So I just think it's very interesting that the same thing is occurring on not just one log. Like, it's not just my email for one of my, I got multiple emails attached to it, with multiple accounts. So you can't use that either. I've tried all sorts of different techniques to get this to work. But for some reason, it does not matter the device I'm on. As long as I'm in one of my many accounts, it just doesn't work. So I have to go live. And I didn't intend to, but I always do enjoy going live because that's one of the best opportunities I have to interact with you guys. But unfortunately, I don't have much time, so it wasn't, a great opportunity at this moment. But anyways, I'm going to run through some things. I'm going to run through quite a few things quickly. But once you see, that they're all basically the same, then we could skip through a bunch. But they really have been drilling something home, right? Just pounding it into us. And we're going to go through some of it and show I just took a handful of the hundreds upon hundreds of different articles that I could have chose that are talking about this exact same thing. Olivia Troy left the administration in August, long before Trump declined this week to commit to a peaceful transition of power, should he lose the election. White House staffers discuss scenarios where President Donald Trump doesn't accept the results of the November presidential election and refuses to leave, according to a former staffer who has since spoken out against the president. Olivia Troy, who worked on the coronavirus task force and served as an advisor to Vice President Mike Pence on counterterrorism and homeland security, said Friday she and other staffers held closed-door conversations about the scenario while she was working on the coronavirus task force. Troy left the administration in August, long before Trump declined this week to commit to a peaceful transition of power, should he lose the election. The president has also repeatedly joked about serving beyond his term and accused Democrats of trying to steal the election. Now, guys, yeah, this absolutely is true. They have been really, this is a big one. I made a couple of videos that really focused on this exact narrative and how often that they push it really, really hard, and then they just completely pull back, out of sight, out of mind. And then they bring it right back again, and it's like, bam, and they inundate us with it. And there's so many of these. I'm not going to go through them all, of course, but I want you to see the sheer number. Like I said, I just took a handful of them. But this is definitely something that they want you to have somewhere in your psyche, somewhere in your subconscious. But this is definitely something that they want you to have somewhere in your psyche, somewhere in your subconscious, to drive some type of action or reaction, or to get you to think a certain way. I mean, that's what it's all about. They always seem to do this. It's not worth it. I got 100 of them. Donald Trump keeps saying he won't accept the election result. Are people finally starting to listen? Or is the media finally starting again to put out as much propaganda as humanly possible? People starting to listen. People are going to listen and see whatever the hell the three-letter alphabet gang media propaganda channels put out en masse. That's what they're going to see. That's what they're going to listen to. Good to see you all in here. So, again, this is just another one. Unfortunately, turn the chat off for a second here, guys. I'll definitely talk to you all before I jump off here, but well, just to get through this garbage. All right. Fears are growing, stoked by the president's own comments that he will refuse to peacefully leave should he lose the election in November. Right? We were talking about this for months, actually for years. Like I said, go back and check that video I made out talking about Trump and the Civil War 4 years ago. How concerned should we be? And what can we do to make sure we're prepared? Well, I'll tell you right now, don't listen to the advice of these expletives. Stock up on food. First aid type stuff. And plans ready, you know? What if? God forbid, and it probably wouldn't happen, but you always got to be prepared. So what if your children were quarantined for some reason, or somebody had to leave the house, or, have all stage for this. So think about all the things that are not just the COVID, not just that force multiplier, right? That's going to hover over everything for the next couple of years. They're milking it for all it's worth now, but there's still going to be many other agendas taking place at the same time that will take center stage, because that's what they're going to report on. And some of these things are the divide and conquer, right? Problem, reaction, solution, strategy. And some of these things are the divide and conquer, right? problem, reaction, solution strategies, the whole Breonna Taylor verdicts, and it's just the same old song and dance time and time again. But it works for them. The people, the ones that still get their news from CNN or Fox, gets them out in the streets. Bad things happen. Gives the media the ammunition they need. But we are really headed into some dangerous times with this election. This isn't going to be like any other election that your father, your grandfather, great-grand, or mother has seen. Hundreds and hundreds of years. But like I said, we're keeping COVID out of the picture. Hundreds of years since the last Civil War. But then you add this pandemic on top of it, and we are in completely uncharted territory, and the likes that history has never seen. If we are able to write about this in the future, or preserve some of the information we currently have, people will look back at this time in awe. And this will be remembered in one of two ways. Did people finally realize the necessity, the severity, the importance of what is taking place, and maybe just didn't so eagerly abide by these, because they do it always. They do it incrementally, right? Just a little bit here, just a little bit there. But before you know it, you've lost all your civil your liberties. You've lost your rights, your independence. They're surveilling you every chance they get. And it just keeps coming, but they do it. Oh, well, we need to do just a little bit more. And if there's any kind of pushback, right, they'll just stage some type of psychological operation, a hoax, false flag. And they'll get a good portion of the people. And they'll get a good portion of the people, at least the people that they will record and blast on those same media channels, enough ammunition to fulfill the narrative, make it look true. Donald Trump keeps saying he won't accept the election results. People finally starting to listen, like I said. Fears are growing. I had to go over it again. I know I went over it earlier. What would happen if Trump refused to leave office? Anyways, if Donald Trump is defeated in November 2020, his presidency will end on January 2021. If he's reelected, then barring other circumstances, such as removal from office, his administration will terminate on the same day in 2025. In either of these scenarios, Trump would cease to be president immediately upon the expiration of his term. But what if he won't leave the White House? What if he just won't go? The American Constitution spells out how the transfer of power is supposed to work. Article 2 provides that the president, the 20th Amendment says that the president and vice president terms shall end at noon on the 20th of January. Blah, blah, blah. 250 years, presidents have respected this law. Of course, Trump has basically said that he is not going to. They're going to see the results. And that's what all these articles are going to try to keep cramming down your throat. They're going to try to inundate you the best they can, surround you with this information, from morning to night until it's just a part of, I mean, not even, they know you might be the whole Breonna Taylor verdicts, and it's just the same old song and dance time and time again. But it works for them. The people, the ones that still get their news from CNN or Fox, gets them out in the streets. Bad things happen. Gives the media the ammunition they need. But we are really headed into some dangerous times with this election. This isn't going to be like any other election that your father, your grandfather, great-grand, or mother has seen. Hundreds and hundreds of years. But like I said, we're keeping COVID out of the picture. Hundreds of years since the last Civil War. But then you add this pandemic on top of it, and we are in completely uncharted territory, and the likes that history has never seen. Time, if we are able to write about this in the future, or preserve some of the information we currently have, people will look back at this time in awe. And this will be remembered in one of two ways. Did people finally realize the necessity, the severity, the importance of what is taking place, and maybe just didn't so eagerly abide by these, because they do it always, they do it incrementally, right? Just a little bit here, just a little bit there. But before you know it, you've lost all your civil your liberties. You've lost your rights, your independence. They're surveilling you every chance they get. And it just keeps coming, but they do it. Oh, well, we need to do just a little bit more. And if there's any kind of pushback, right, they'll just stage some type of psychological operation, a hoax, false flag. And they'll get a good portion of the people, at least the people that they will record and blast on those same media channels, enough ammunition to fulfill the narrative, make it look true. Donald Trump keeps saying he won't accept the election results. People finally starting to listen, like I said. Fears are growing. I had to go over it again. I know I went over it earlier. What would happen if Trump refused to leave office? Anyways, if Donald Trump is defeated in November 2020, his presidency will end on January 2021. If he's reelected, then barring other circumstances, such as removal from office, his administration will terminate on the same day in 2025. In either of these scenarios, Trump would cease to be president immediately upon the expiration of his term. But what if he won't leave the White House? What if he just won't go? The American Constitution spells out how the transfer of power is supposed to work. Article 2 provides that the president, the 20th Amendment says that the president and vice president terms shall end at noon on the 20th of January. Blah, blah, blah. 250 years, presidents have respected this law. Of course, Trump has basically said that he is not going to. They're going to see the results. And that's what all these articles are going to try to keep cramming down your throat. They're going to try to inundate you the best they can, surround you with this information from morning to night until it's just a part of, I mean, not even, they know you might be too intelligent for this garbage. But they know most people are too smart to fall for commercials. But the reason that they do it, it's not about they think that you're going to watch the one commercial, run out and buy the product. No, it's because familiarity. The more they surround you with it, the more constant it is, then your subconscious, your psyche that is a little bit on a deeper level absorbs these things. And then when you see, just for products, for example, you see them in a grocery store and you see the one that you've been inundated with, and then you see something that's new and different that you've never seen, no ads for, you've never seen a commercial, it's just, take a drink, for instance, a soft drink. You got Coca-Cola on one, and then you got some new stuff that you never heard. It's completely different. People that like to try new things, they may grab the other one. But most people, especially when it comes to things like that they prefer what they've grown up with. And chances are that their parents grew up with. And that goes for everything, including information and trusted sources. And until they really, truly open their eyes, they won't really grasp that for themselves. They will just continue to go along with what is comfortable. Because a lot of this is uncomfortable. A lot of people don't want to believe that this is what's really taking place. And it's easy for them not to when there's, all these so-called trusted sources telling them that, oh yeah, don't listen to the guys that actually do the research, because media, oh my goodness, I think we can all agree that media hasn't done honest journalism in a long time. They don't, they get a script. It's like, read this. This is what we have to tell them. And there's no investigative journalism. There's nothing like that. But for the people that do it and arrive at a different conclusion, well, those guys are dangerous. Those guys are conspiracy theorists. Everybody's a damn conspiracy theorist now. They got to be careful. That's going to be a badge of honor pretty soon. What would happen if Trump refused to leave? You guys get the idea, right? There's a ton of these, like I said. I don't want to waste too much time. Trump won't commit to peace. You guys get the idea, right? There's a ton of these, like I said. I don't want to waste too much time. Trump won't commit to peaceful transition. President Donald Trump declines to commit to peaceful transition. Trump won't commit to, and it goes on and on and on. But this is all leading to something. We've talked about this a few months back. But now that we're really kind of stepping into it, I want to highlight a lot of this because I think it's going to be very important. And I hope they always do this. I don't know. I ain't doing that. Either. I've got another one out. We'll go to this one. This is what they keep leading slightly onto, right? During this whole, and there's going to be psyops occurring. There's going to be something big before the election. Wow. Like I said, guys, they just strange things. They're doing everything they can. Wow. Doing everything they can. Wow. But I'm going to keep doing everything I can as well. And I know a lot of you keep asking, why don't I have backups or BitChute or this or that? And don't worry, I do. And when I feel the time's ready, and that may seem, like it may not make a lot of sense to some people, but there's a reason I do everything. And I guess that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to turn the chat back on. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to what I really wanted to talk about because the last two articles, for some reason, wants me to post all my information while I'm live. And I'm not going to do that, but I can tell you what they were saying. Basically, they're worried about, in these mainstream articles, they're worried about Trump calling in the military. I just thought that was extremely interesting because this also is becoming a narrative that I'm starting to see more and more of. But like I said, unfortunately, we are unable to go through it. So I'm going to save that. I don't know how. I'm going to figure out how to do a video. And I really want, because I got a lot of good information that I want to bring to you in a way. I do love chats and being able to talk to you guys. Like, I just turned it on so I can see Marcus. It's good to see you, Linus. DMV. Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure. With a group like you guys, man, it's more than worth it. It really is. When I get all the good information, the good links. Good to see you, Tab. So yeah, I'm gonna bring you a video. An app or anything nowadays online, then chances are somewhere that you are giving away some type of control over your device. Always, really, almost every single one I read, and I read every one before I download something because it's very interesting. I mean, I skipped a lot of the legal jargon because it's the same legal jargon for almost every one. But as far as what they're doing, then yeah, definitely, Marcus. I think that might be the case. I just don't want to. I know that's the case, actually. If you've seen what me and my wife have seen, like these ridiculous occurrences, but I want to be on here like talking. Oh yeah, well, blah. This is what. Nah, it's just I want to really not bring too much attention to them either. I don't want them. They don't deserve any light of day. All right, guys. I'm gonna get going here in a minute. I appreciate all of it. I really do. I'm grateful for you guys. I said, just not only is it, I don't care how corny it sounds, it's pretty heartwarming to see the way this community is and how they have each other's back, right? They're so kind to one another, very respectful. What's up, Angry White Guy? Good to see you, my man. And it's just so much information is shared, and good quality content. And not only that, but I see a lot of you guys share a lot of information. Some of you guys go so far as to mirror videos of mine, and I appreciate that. And other videos as well. And, you're putting in the legwork, and that's all I can ask. If you don't want to be content creators, it might not be for you. It's not for everybody. It's not, you might have a better call, something that's even more effective, or just getting a way to reach people, as long as you're trying some way. Because the worst thing we could do is nothing. Because it's here, right? It's happening right now. So it's no longer like, well, it might happen, and what it does, well, how will we act? No, I think we can all agree at this point what's taking place, and we need to act accordingly. We need to do the things that are necessary in order to preserve our freedoms, the liberties that we enjoy so much, that we could pass them down to our children, and they could pass them down to theirs, so on and so forth, etc., etc. But that's not going to be possible if we just slap the face mask on, if we just stay socially distant, if we allow our children to go to these schools just to be quarantined sometime from now until December 13th. Or, there's so many things that complacency will blindly walk us into, that we could just so easily avert had we been paying attention and not being so passive, right? And just going, sorry about the turning, I'm not even paying attention to the phone. It's just something that we have to do at this point. Or you are part of the problem. And then, I don't want to sound mean, but if you're not doing at least a little bit, then you can't. It's almost like how they use the voting thing, right? But we know voting's a joke, that whole diet. It's just, but in reality, you do have a choice of whether or not you can attempt to show somebody something of a little bit of truth. And you don't have to do it directly. You don't have to come up to them and be like, hey, look at this, check this out. There's other ways to do it. There's pamphlets. You could print up a bunch of facts and be like, check this out, leave them on people's windshield. You'd be surprised. People all the time are getting, things popping up on their phones that say, check this out, check that out, clickbait, and everything else. But if they go out to their car and they see something underneath the windshield wiper, and it's telling them a bunch of very interesting facts, as long as it's true, right? You know what? The last thing we want to do is lie. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. That's going to be the downfall of them. So we just be honest, be truthful, be integral, and just tell them what the hell's going on. Once they start looking at those types of things, be creative. Do whatever you can, but do something. Because the time is ticking. All right, guys. Like I said, nothing but love for you. I hope you all have a good night, good day, good week, good month, good year, decade, and millennia. Much love.